Yes, indeed. Boss is back. Yep, and we still talking about the major Dallas Cowboys positive 2025 changes. They got some things right, man. So we gonna talk about it, because for some of this we gotta honestly sit back and learn. We gotta learn from history on this stuff. So, you know Boss gonna bring it to you like I bring it with a lot of receipts. So, but we still gotta have this discussion because it's important. So y'all sit back, man, let Boss work on the back end to put everything together. I'll be right back. Let's go. Come on in. Have a seat. Man, we can do better. Man, let's go. Man, you don't know how your boy Boss. Might come different, man. Yeah. Man, boy, y'all ain't ready for Boss, man. I be doing too much for y'all sometimes. Y'all ain't ready for Boss, man. But you go get Boss. You go get all the Boss. All right, let's test. You test my button, then we go. Let me see. Let me make sure everything works. Gotta make sure everything working. I think it's working. Yeah, it's working. All right, there we go. All right. Yeah, man. All right, so I'm gonna get down to it. Welcome to Boss Cowboy Sports. And I'm bringing y'all a quick series, my boy say a vault edition. Yes, indeed, bro. You know I'm gonna do it like Boss does it. It's only one me. All right, but we gotta talk about this because when you're dealing with the Dallas Cowboys, especially during times like this, because I'm just being all the way honest. I'm seeing what's going on. When it comes down to this content, man, we can't start faking. And it's a lot of faking going on right now. What I mean by that is some things we trying to make interesting that's not interesting. Some of us is trying to make stories out of stuff that's not stories. Okay. So I gotta be focused, right? So I got to be focused, and I got to be able to see through the wee-woo. I got to be able to see through the games, right? Because you seeing stuff like Jay running with the ones. Or you hearing about all this rotation and which running back is looking good. And it's like, bro, we doing that? Is that what we doing? What I mean is, you really trying to judge running backs without pads? Nah, we ain't doing that. And don't let people do you like that, right? So what I'm gonna do, instead of trying to make stories out of stuff that's not stories, is I'm gonna talk about the stuff we really need to be kind of aware of, and some things we also gotta learn from. And this is one of them. This is one of them for sure. Let me change the vibe a little bit. Because in this series, first I dealt with this, which is super important: alignment. Okay, so we talked about the alignment. That's true alignment that's happening. Okay, that we wasn't seeing before. And it's important that we know stuff like this, because we don't know what the future gonna be. There's gonna be a time to where, like right now, everybody love Brian. Then I promise you, people go hate Brian. It's just a cycle of coaches. You love them, then you hate them. The same way that people love Brian right now, they love Mike McCarthy when he was coming in different than Jason Garrett. You know? So when we get into a new cycle of a coach, we got to remember some of these old stories. If we don't remember these old stories, we'll fall for something. So let's remember this.
I think that's the greatest part, is being aligned from top down, and that's one of the commitments that we all made sitting in there about what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. You know, it starts with ownership coming down, but Shotty's got a plan, got a vision. We're going to support that, and then what we'll do is continue to, add good players. I have a great feeling about Shotty, what he's looking for. He's going to communicate. He's going to over-communicate. He's going to ask his staff to do that, and they're going to over-communicate with us, and we're going to over-communicate with them. That's how we're going to get it done the first year. We'll continue to grow and get better at it.
Key thing he talked about is we're going to continue to grow and get better at it, right? So with him basically talking about the alignment, I'm not going to redo this show, but I already did this show. If you go watch that show, you'll get a real better feeling of the true alignment that we have now between the offensive side. It's very much aligned like it hasn't been in years, to be all the way honest with you. So, that's just dope to see. So I already did that content, so I ain't gonna talk about that no more, right? But that's important to know, because like I said, we might get in the future a new cycle of coaches. You gotta make sure we're not repeating the same traps that we fell for in the past. So understanding your history and understanding the positive changes helps us keep pressure that we stay in those areas where we're better aligned. So one of the things I want to make sure I repeat from when we talked about the alignment of the coaches, right, as a positive that came from front office, because this wasn't just alignment that came from Brian. This alignment came from the very top. Jerry, Steven, Will, Brian, all of them had to align. And they did. They aligned the offensive vision. They hired along the offensive vision versus being scattered, right? So, but there's another thing and another change that I want us to discuss and remember and be very keen on. And that was the trap that we almost fell for. And the pressure, let me be honest with y'all, the pressure we was putting on front office to not do BPA. And they passed the test. And that wasn't an easy test by them, y'all. I want y'all to understand that wasn't an easy test. So, and when it's time to give them credit, right? I know a lot of people like to point this particular channel as a negative channel. I think if anything, we're a balanced channel. I think we're balanced, and we try to be fair, and we try to be accurate. And when it's time to put pressure, we go put it on front office. But sometimes we got to put pressure on us as fans, because the smarter we are, And the more we come together on what's best, the more that we can actually pressure them to do the right things. So let me sum this up like this, because I'm going to say this a lot today. Going forward, the mantra, in my opinion, that should cause us to have a better alignment is draft the best and rent the rest. If that's the philosophy, we go be fine. The lessons I'm going to say from this 2025 offseason on BPA is draft the best, rent the rest. If we do that going forward, we gonna be fine. So let me just show y'all some of the pressure that was going on, and we'll kind of discuss it. Y'all give me a second, and we go look at this now in hindsight. All right, and we go look at this. Ain't just pick 12 either. This is the whole draft, and this is about team building. So listen to this.
Well, what's up, guys? It's your girl Star, and today's argument is pretty simple. It is need versus want. Again, need.
Now, remember, this was the first public fight that we had. Okay. And we was calling it, we didn't have no name for it at first. We didn't. It just organically turned into team trenches versus team weapons, when it really wasn't that. We was always trying to make the case for what we felt was the best player available. That's what we really was doing. But it just was easier to just kind of sum it up as being team trenches. It's an easier bumper sticker. But listen.
Versus want. Sometimes you may want to go to McDonald's, Chick-fil-A. You may want to go to Ruth's Chris and get you a nice steak. When you look at the bank account, you're like, my rent is due. I can't afford that. And so simply today, what we're trying to show y'all is that we may want to go into the draft and say, let's ignore weapons and let's just do pure BPA and get another offensive lineman. But is that what you need, or is that what you want? And I'm going to rest my case on that.
And so it sounds simple now, right? It sounds innocent now. And we have to be fair to all team weapons. We have to be very fair. Okay? I'm gonna be fair to y'all. When it came down to weapons, it was a major need. It was a major need. And because it was so big of a need, a lot of us, it was hard for us to focus on not even pick 12. This was the whole draft. It was hard to focus on what's the best person there. What's the best person there? And so, and what we also saw is this is the strategy of front office that we gonna likely start seeing going forward. What strategy, boss? The strategy you gonna likely see, this was the strategy of selectively aggressive. So we saw, this is what selective aggressive looks like. What's up, Wes? We got Wes in the building. This is what it looks like. So let's remember this going forward. Selective aggressive looks like pretty much what we always been doing, right? Where we go in and we put a lot of stock on these drafted guys. And selective aggressive also says we go sometimes walk into the draft with big needs. Stuff that we've been tired of. Stuff we've been fighting for. So, like for instance, team weapons, you got your guy. You got George Pickens now. But it's some of us that's still waiting on what we've been begging for. So, like for instance, we got OG in the building. We got Wes in the building. Now, me and Wes have done shows for years. Years at this point. Me and Wes about 7 years in now. 6-7 years in together. Wes, how long we been talking about we need a veteran DT? How long we been saying that, bro? See, Team Weapons was right. We super needed wide receiver too. Like Star said, it's a simple. This is what my girl said. It come down to need versus want. But we still got that same need now at DT. We still are over dependent on DTs with less than 3 years of experience. We still roll guys out there like Neville Gallimore, and we get excited because he ran a 4.79. We get excited, and we think he gonna be instant, or it'll be Tristan Hill, and it'll be he's picked 58. Oh, he's gonna come in and ball, or it'll be Mozzie, and we'll say, shit, we ain't never had somebody with that type of athleticism. We ain't never had a freak like that. When was the last time we got us a one-tech DT? Or it'll be Quentin Bohanna. Same damn play, Wes. And all me and Wes been wanting is a veteran until those guys mature. Me and Wes and other people that's on this Team Trench stuff with one tech, they lying on us now, Wes. They making it sound like we don't believe in them rookies and them year 2 players. None of us are saying that. What we saying is don't put too much weight on them dudes. Let them get developmental reps until they hit year 3. Stop betting on rookies to be your savior. And we do it year in and year out. So when you see Star and you see other people that was super team weapons, say, listen, you had need and you had want. What we got to be careful of, even though me and my boy Wes been waiting, we've been waiting way longer than I wait for a veteran DT has been way longer than y'all wait for weapon. Let me say that again. The wait for me and West Coast to keep a veteran talent in here until your young guys mature. We've been waiting on that a lot longer than y'all. But what the mistake that we can never make, that we almost made, and that we was pressuring front office to do, we was pressuring them to basically reach for a weapon because of the massive need. And that's where they was right, and that's where we was wrong. So I want y'all to listen to the OC. He gonna talk about it. Now we gonna listen to him in hindsight. We gonna analyze it. Listen.
Respectfully, we're not in the 90s. And if you look at the offenses that have been elite over the last 10 Super Bowls, you see top 10 offensive lines. That's what you see. And so I'm saying that we need to be open to take the guard if that is the best pick at the time, and that is what can help the most based on the players available for the Dallas Cowboys. And what I am against, I'm greatly against forcing a weapon at our pick in the first round, because there are other weapons. And you don't necessarily have to draft a wide receiver or a running back in the very first round to be successful in this year's draft. Furthermore, most of the receivers that you have that come into the league, very few of them, with the exception of Neighbors, Jamar Chase, a handful of elite guys, are really ready to play and have significant damage in their very, very first year in the league. It's very unlikely. Most of them are mentored. They're mentored a year or two, and they develop into true number ones or number one Bs. I would say that. So, and I'm being soft because I'm saving some for these other people, right? So, at the end of the day, I think that you bring up a good point in that, yes, you can find value with offensive linemen in later rounds. That's true. But the trend, even some of the people you named, Dickerson, these guys are drafted early. And also, on a 360 view, we have to consider something we haven't considered. Brian Schottenheimer, how does he like to run his offense? What will he do? That's what we got to think about. What he wants to do is power run this football zone inside.
See, hold on now. See, the OC said something that, whew, man. And see, I'm going to come back to what he was saying right there. See, I was listening, right? I'm listening with an open mind. I'm listening to the cases. I was listening. And as I was listening, I was hearing positional value and stuff like that, right? So this is about us learning, right? For the next war, for the next time, for the next fight, for the next time, we need to be coming all together. We don't need to be letting fights get in the way when we should be together on certain things, right? Notice that Brian said one of the things he locked in on, which also made him lock in on Booker, was the style of your head coach and what he wants. Because see, I was hearing a lot of stuff about guard as a positional value. It's not worth a guard being that high. I mean, I guess if you're just thinking in general, sure. I ain't gonna fight you on that. If we just had a blind team and we had no identity to that team, right? And you was team building, you probably wouldn't categorize guard as one of the most important things to have, because this is a team with no identity. This is just a imaginary team that we're building, and we're saying if you had a choice of what you would get first on a team with no identity, what would you start with? Guard would be low, right? But Coach Marv in the building. What's up, Coach? Salute to your channel. I owe you a phone call too, Coach Marv in the building. But this head coach was talking. This head coach was telling you what he wants to lead with. This head coach, whenever you ask him, says the same thing. When you ask him, what do you want your offensive identity to be? The first thing he says is physical. That is the first thing he says. So, knowing that, the next time we in this environment, where all of us, in my opinion, trying to figure out what's best for our team, I think it's gonna make us better if we stop and say, okay, not what's the best player, not just that, because that's obviously super important, but also what's the best player that fit as well. Because if we would have saw it like that, I think a lot of us would have came around to what we were saying. You know, but when you look at it as guard in a vacuum, then we not gonna align our vision of seeing the same benefit of a player asset. So this time it was Booker. But this is a perfect example. I'm gonna give you I'm going to give you a perfect example. Guess what? If Mike McCarthy would have still been our coach, I probably wouldn't have been pushing Booker at all. Why? Because your head coach wasn't going to use him. Your head coach showed that he does not have an identity to want to run the ball. So for me to be pushing Booker would have been different than the vision and philosophy of what Mike felt like he needed to succeed. So guess what? If it would have been Mike McCarthy as our head coach, I would have likely been saying, man, we probably need to get Ted, or we need to move down and get a receiver. Why? Because we know this man is going to throw the ball. He going to talk a good game about running the ball, but when he get down to what he comfortable with, he's slanging that thing. So if we want to increase our chances on winning, we need to, from the philosophy of our head coach, go with what he needs to win. And to me, that's what we kind of dropped the ball on a little bit as we was trying to figure out BPA. So listen real quick to Klayton Adams talk about this in the draft process. Listen.
One of the things that I've been so impressed with the draft process here is, when there's things that happen, you kind of let it fall the way that it's falling. When the best player is there that's going to make our team the best, we're going to get the thing that we think is the sure thing more than just like, we really need this position. When the best player is there that's going to make our team the best, we're going to get the thing that we think is the sure thing more than just like, we really need this position. Let's reach a little bit. It's falling. When the best player is there that's going to make our team the best, we're going to get the thing that we think is the sure thing more than just like, we really need this position. Let's reach a little bit. There doesn't seem to be a lot of reaching in that draft room, and certainly no panic in that draft room. So it's been pretty impressive to watch.
And that wasn't easy. I'm just being honest. That was not easy, y'all. Pretty much, you was in a minority position if you wanted Booker. A majority of people was very much team weapon. And not just a receiver, running back too. Because that going into the draft was considered our two biggest needs. Let me go back to the OC.
Zone, some toss, some ISO. That's what he wants to do. That is what he wants. So his priority is going to be some power up in the front of that line. That is going to be a priority for him. And he wants to play action pass. And if we go back to Seattle and we go back to where Russell Wilson was throwing 40 touchdowns, they had beef and strength at the point of attack. And furthermore, they didn't really have a second receiver. They didn't. I'm not saying we shouldn't get one. They had Lockett. They were play action passing, completing a variety of routes to Lockett and these no-name receivers. Furthermore,
simmer down, boss.
Furthermore, there were two backs. There were two backs that he had that when Beast Mode left, it was two no-name backs. I don't even remember their names. I would have to Google it. But these guys both rushed for 1,000 yards underneath Brian Schottenheimer's offense. So I'm saying you don't do that without a quality offensive line. Am I saying that you 100% you have to draft the guard with the first pick? No, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying it needs to be something based upon the 360. And I'll shut up because I'm going to save something for you guys. It has to be something that's considered based on the 360 what's going on with this team. And you can't throw it out the window and say that's the bad thing to do. That's my statement for now. You guys go ahead.
Man, that OC boy. Star, love to see Star too, man. I love all the content creators, man. Y'all so dope. Y'all so dope. And see, Star, I was having your back on this. I was showing everybody that wide receiver 2 is obviously and was a major need. And so it's one of those things going forward. It's like we trying to learn from it. It's like, what's the best way forward? And this is what I think will bring us together way better in the future. this one philosophy that I'm going to say. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to keep saying it the whole show. I think going forward, I think the mantra need to be draft the best and rent the rest. Just rent it. See, Pickens is a rental. He's a lease with an option to buy. That's what he is. That's exactly what we should be going for, in my opinion. If we think of it like that, we go come together on ideals more than fight in the future. So listen to this, the OC, and because we talking about where, and I'm just being honest, this to me where front office got it right. This is where they went with what was right over what was popular. And that's not easy to do. That's not easy to do. Because it was overwhelming pressure for weapons. It was. It was so loud that even after we got Booker, they still, if Tet would have failed, we would have got him. Can y'all tell me the last time they did that? Can you tell me the last time they did that? When did we ever get a player and they say out of pressure, if this player would have been there, we would have got it. They didn't do that to LVE. They didn't do that to Micah. They didn't do that to Tyler Smith. I've never seen them do that. But the reason why they did that is because they was feeling the pressure. And they was hearing and reading the reports. And the reports kept telling them, your fan base aggressively wants wide receiver 2. So Coach Marv with the super chat, appreciate it, Coach. He said, now Cowboy Nation, don't let the media get us off our mark of being physical. Man, preach, Coach. He said, first, because we got Pickens. Yep. That's we will. Clap it up for Coach. Yeah, and I'm not sure they did it with Mozzie like that. Not like that. See, because with Mozzie, what they showed with Mozzie is that it was 2 different options at the pick. Bergeron went after Mozzie, bro. See, the difference was they didn't say a player that was picked ahead of Mozzie, we would have got him if he would have failed. They ain't do that. And so, but it's more so to me saying the pressure that they was under. That's all I'm really saying, is that they was feeling the pressure from the fans on a weapon. That's all I'm saying. And that's the truth. And they had to make a choice to go with what was best. And what was best was to go with Booker. That was best. Now, if Ted would have been there, maybe they would have took him. Fine. If you believe that, fine. I don't believe that. But maybe they would have. But at what was there, no doubt that Booker was a better pick, even than Matthew Golden. So hold on, listen. OC talked about this too, and we go just sum it up.
The issue is this. You ain't going to draft a rookie or wide receiver. They're going to come in and save the day. These guys need maturation, and they need a time to develop. And that's what we're saying. I'm not arguing against the point that we need a wide receiver too, because you're correct about that. But the way that we get the wide receiver too is not overdrafting a rookie who wouldn't have even made the top of the top 10 picks last.
See, and that's what he's saying. So like D.A. Lee said, wide receiver was a top need this season. Exactly. And that's my whole point of doing this show, is how do we handle in the future the next time we have a top need? That's why I'm doing this show. So we can learn from the mistake that we could have made. The mistake we could have made is we would have reached. If we would have got Matthew Golden at 12, that would have been a reach. It's clear now, because he was picked at 23. It would have been a reach. So I'm doing this show so that the next time we have a clear need, we also clear-eyed about how to handle it.
Last year in the draft, none of these guys at the top of this draft would have been top 10 picks versus the other guys that all got drafted in the first round last year.
And he right on that. Let me rewind that, man. The OC was now we listening to this in hindsight. The war is over. Both sides won now. Team weapons won. Team trenches won. Everybody won. So we can put down our defenses. Now we can really listen and listen to the heart of what the OC was saying. Don't listen in the mode of trying to win a debate. Listen to the heart of what he was saying.
Because you're correct about that. You're correct about that. But the way that we get the wide receiver 2 is not overdrafting a rookie who wouldn't have even made the top of the top 10 picks last year in the draft. None of these guys at the top of this draft would have been top 10 picks versus the other guys that all got drafted in the first round last year.
He not lying. And that was a lot of our problem with it. That right, what he just said right there. It wasn't the fact that we didn't recognize that it was a top need. It was like, because it was a top need, did that mean you needed to reach to address it?
They're not as good as the guys last year. And so what you're going to
let me answer
the
this.
name of adding a wide receiver to this roster and say, oh, you're going to save the day if CeeDee Lamb gets hurt. No, this is a front office issue that they should address right now in free agency and get the wide receiver too. So I agree with you.
He right. And that's the pressure we should have been putting on them. That. Get it done now. That's the pressure. But we was putting different pressure. You know the pressure we was putting on them? We was saying get it done at 12. Or you not serious. That's what we was saying. Let's just keep it real now. Come on now. Keep it real. That's what we was saying, bro. Overwhelmingly, that's what was being put out there, man. But now we got hindsight. Now we can look back at it and say, would that would have been the best? Would that have been the best based on how it worked out? Or was it best to do like what we said? Draft the best and then rent the rest. So like I said this on Twitter, April 21st before the draft. I said, don't be mad at me. I wanted Keelan Allen to Dallas so Dallas could do true BPA. The thirst for wide receiver 2 got my poor Cowboy family tripping. I get it too. Dallas needs it, and that's what D.A. Lee's saying. He right. That's what Star was saying. She right. Everybody that said it was a top need, right. It would have been very wise for Dallas to rent the receiver and draft Booker. Your head coach wants it. I ain't doing this, D.A. Lee. I think I got the right to have the same confidence. I don't think I gotta wait. I don't gotta wait at all. It's some players you convinced. Cause I put it like this: if we would have got Genty, you wouldn't say we gotta wait to see. You wouldn't say that. No. If we would have got Thomas last year, you wouldn't have been like, let's wait and see how he go play. You wouldn't say that. You would have been like, he go come in here, he go ball out. Yeah. That the same conviction that some people got over weapons is the same conviction I have over Booker being a perfect fit for what we need. And I think he gonna be a shoe-in player day one. And he ain't gonna be like a tackle. He not gonna be like a Tyler Guyton, where tackles take a year or two to develop because they on the island and they going against the best athletes. Your guards are generally plug and play instant impact guys. Lyle Collins, what happened with him? He was a plug and play left guard day one. Day one. What happened with Zach Martin? Plug and play day one. When you got the right traits and you got the right shit, I can be confident. And I'm confident on Booker. And I always been. This ain't capping. This ain't trying to be right. But I ain't got to wait for nothing. That shit finna be better than Hoffman. And it's gonna work. Our middle three finna be dope. Yeah, our middle three finna be the shit. And we gonna be pushing boys now. We ain't gonna have to wait. And I'm gonna put it like this: if he having some major rookie lumps, I'm gonna say I was wrong, bro. I'm gonna come right up here and say, bro, I said he was gonna be instant. I was wrong. But I don't think that's gonna happen. So, just keeping it real. But I respect everybody's opinions, you know. But I believe in the film and the study that I did on Booker. I really did. I believe in the fit. Hell yeah, Star. I would love to get Reader. Absolutely, I would love to get Reader Star. Yeah, and that's all we want, man. We just want. Let me play, man. Let me play. This came from my boy Tuck. I gotta play this, man. Tuck went hard. Let me play this from the OG. Cause I'm gonna do a show on this. Hold on real quick. Give me one second to pull this up. Y'all know how I be, bro. Some stuff is unplanned. This is what Tuck said. Then I'm gonna finish out what I was talking about with this BPA. But listen to Tuck right here, bro. And because I'm gonna do a whole show on this. This is real. Hold on. Listen to my bro.
Sometimes that is what it's like being an uncompromised content creator. So what do I mean? Right? If you know the story of Final Destination, you know, Alex got on the plane and he saw these things kind of unraveling with the plane and the seatbelt not clicking and the baby and all sorts of stuff. And he saw in his vision, hey, this plane to Paris is going to blow up. I am getting off the plane because it just doesn't feel right to me, right? And when he was saying, hey, the plane's going to blow up, the plane's going to crash, the plane's going to blow up, everyone get off, there were some people who put their blindfolds on, put their headphones on, completely ignored it, the fact that somebody on the plane is screaming the plane is about to blow up. Catch my drift? Right? So eventually what happens is he gets carried off the plane. Some others get carried off the plane as well and miss out on their trip to Paris. But what ultimately ends up happening, right? The plane, boom, blows up. And those people who got off the plane lived and everybody paid the price, right? So what am I doing when I come to this analogy, right? Yeah, the trucks. Yeah, the log trucks, that's another one. I don't do no log trucks, and I do not do no water bottles in my car. You know what I'm saying? For that reason. You know what I'm saying? Final Destination 2 is a classic as well, right? But it's the same approach sometimes as a Cowboys content creator, media, whatever you guys want to call us, right? I feel like sometimes it happens to my guy, Big Game James.
Yep.
Sometimes it happens to Boss Cowboy.
Yep.
You know, it's happening to Clarence Hill right now. It happens to me often where we're saying, hey, we need a defensive tackle.
Yep.
We need a one tech.
Yep.
Hey, we gotta get a defensive tackle. We won't be able to stop the run. If we do not get a defensive tackle, we won't be able to stop the run, and our season's gonna crash.
That's right.
So we're screaming on the plane, hey, go get a defensive tackle. And then there are some people who put their blindfolds on.
Yep.
Put their headphones on.
Yep.
Just this old crazy Jay Tuck. He's always just being concerned. He's just always being fearful. Right? He's always just being negative. where we're saying, I've seen it, right? I've as a Cowboys fan, I've seen what it's like when we get into the playoffs and we can't stop the run, or down the stretch where we don't have the defensive tackles to stop the run, and we won't be able to keep our linebackers clean. Like, we need to get him off the plane. Get him off the plane. Get Boss Cowboy off the plane. Get old crazy Pop Clarence off the plane. Get these people off the plane. Right?
Man. Shit. So, yeah, so like I'm so serious about like how close we are to winning the championship, man. So we just gotta be that guy. And we gotta be that guy, or you gotta be that girl that's willing to say what others not willing to say. Because see, I see the politics of the space. I see the greed in the space. So I've been doing this long enough to know that optimism works on our fans. If you want to grow, start a channel, and all you got to do is just always be positive. Never talk about different things that could be at risk of hurting us. Don't even bring it up. So if we get some old average ass guards off the street, say some stuff like, well, at least Dallas is active. If no one techs or three techs as rookies ever had a good rookie year consistently, just tell everybody, hey, boy, that Tristan Hill, whoo, he finna ball out. We finally got us one at pick 58. That Mozzie, whoo, he go come in here and ball. That Gallimore, and I got to be the person to say, they lying to you. They telling you that because they know you want to hear that. And you go sub to their channels for that bullshit. So I got to be the one to say, don't sub to my channel then. I'ma still tell you the truth. I'ma still tell you that I don't believe that Jay is going to be a very good, healthy rotation. I don't. And I shouldn't. It's like somebody, who was I talking to? I forgot who. I was talking to Lou. And Lou said it best. Lou said, bro, that's like a girl canceling a date on you 4 times and you trying to go back out with her for the 5th and 6th time. You the fool. If you the one that if they sell you over and over, hey, Neville Gallimore, he gonna be that rookie, and he not. Tristan Hill, he gonna be that rookie, and he not. And Mozzie, they didn't work, but Mozzie, he gonna work. It didn't work. This Dotson guy, it's gonna work. It didn't work. But then I supposed to be over here with y'all on some. But this time, the Islander and his own damn big brother, his blood big brother, drafted in the 3rd round, didn't have instant success. So, and that's what I got to do though. I got to do it, and I will do it because it's the right thing to do if you're trying to win. So you got to let other people grow from lying, and you got to grow slower from telling the truth. Just what you got to do when you dedicated to trying to win for real. Because it's a whole lot of bullshit people go tell you to get you to sub. They go tell you Jack Sanborn is Luke Kuechly. They go tell you Blue is Kamara and Tony Dorsett. But listen, I got 2 more clips, and then we out. Check this out.
On that, but the solution is not to come out here and to say I'm gonna shove this wide receiver first pick, first round down your throat. It is not to come out here and to say I'm gonna shove this wide receiver first pick, first round down your throat. Agency and get the wide receiver too. So I agree with you on that. But the solution is not to come out here and to say I'm gonna shove this wide receiver first pick, first round down your throat. That's not the solution, landlord. It's not.
Look at Lou. Lou stupid. hey man, them fights are so funny, bro. Them fights. Look at Lou. Hey man, them fights was to the death. and Lou crazy.
Your throat. That's not the solution, landlord. It's not.
Man, why y'all so animated? You got dudes doing. Lou down there looking like the Wheel of Fortune girl and stuff, man.
That was a murder. That was a murder, dog.
Y'all so ignorant.
Did the OC put on his hoodie, bro? Say, man, them fights are so funny, bro. That was a murder. That was a murder, dog.
Y'all so ignorant.
That was a murder.
Y'all so ignorant. Hold on. Y'all let him cut in, first of all.
Damn.
I ain't got a chance to damn rebuttal.
You all right, dog?
All right.
Nah, I'm good.
I say, you all right, dog? Say the OC. And then the OC put on his hoodie. All right, listen, y'all. Here we go. Listen. Check this out.
You know what?
I can't see it.
You know what I'm starting to realize?
What's that?
Hold on. I gotta set this up. I can't just go into that because the OC super cooked on that. Listen, he brought the house down with what he got to say. So I gotta gear up. I gotta really gear up before I explain what's getting ready to happen. So, again, this is about us learning, right? This is about us sitting back and saying, okay, the next time, 2 or 3 years from now, where it's going to be another debate on safety versus corner, linebacker versus edge, or, God forbid, quarterback, right? Running back. It's going to be some debate. It's going to be some difference, right? We got to be able to look back and we got to be able to remember these type of fights and days and remember, draft the best and rent the rest, right? Because see, front office was right about that, man. They was right. And it wasn't even just Booker they was right about. Like, for instance, let me show y'all this real quick. Hold on. Y'all know me. So if you go look, right, and you look at receiver and running back, and you see what we did. So if you look at pick 2, right, we go to pick 2. Give me a second. So y'all obviously see we got hold on. It went to round 3. Go back to round 2. Quit being stupid, man. All right, here we go. All right, so we got Donovan. Okay. So you can see, obviously, the Cowboys got Donovan, right? Super good pick, right? Now, the next exercise is to say, all right, what was under us that we needed? Right? So, to a lot of people's point that was already made already, running back and wide receiver was pretty much universal. Most of us were saying those are our top needs and our biggest holes, right? So then if I go look and I say, okay, what was available? And how is it gonna likely play out, right? So Dallas obviously took a high value guy, which I couldn't go against it because I gave the man 3 stars before Dallas picked him. I already had him as one of my highest rated dudes. So if I'm team BPA, why would I be mad at a Donovan? It don't even make sense, right? But then I gotta look at the needs under it, right? So let me look for running back, right? Because we will have to go back and revisit this. The question is gonna be this: should we had reach for Trey Harris, or should we have stuck with Donovan? Which one likely is gonna have the better career based on what we needed? Should we had reached for Jack Betch, or should we have stuck there and got Donovan? You see what I'm saying? And when you look at it like that, the Dallas Cowboys was clearly picking best. And they was having to, because how do you ignore first round type talent in a Donovan? How could I ignore a guy that I also had with first round talent? Like, how? So Dallas and our Cowboys literally had to look again at a need and say, we going with the best player, bro. Then look at round 3, obviously, right? And this is to me where we can sit back and just say, you know what? This just tells me, man, the next time we go into a draft with a big need, I don't think that's going to be the strategy, is to focus on the needs. We focused on needs heavy. That was on our mind heavy. So like, for instance, you got Chevelle, right? You got Chevelle. So Chevelle on a lot of people board had a first round grade. He didn't on mine. I think I had a second or third round target on him. So then the question would be, which one of these guys are a better value than Rebel that you needed, right? So that would be wide receiver and running back again. So what we all gonna be watching for is somebody like a Jalen Noel and how his career could turn out. The one that all of us gonna be looking for in the next 3 years is Caleb Johnson. Cause this is yeah, and yeah, corner was a need, but at the same time, if I'm being honest and fair to the people that got a problem, the problem that people have is you got Chevelle coming off of ACL. So that's almost like you had a healthy Caleb sitting right there. And that was a major need. And see Lou a OG. See Lou, y'all thought he was just a idiot trench guy, and he like, nah, I would have took Caleb. You see what I'm saying? And see, this is where they went with the value of their board versus what they needed. And I'm just showing y'all, this is what see, some of y'all might be thinking some of these clips, because I've been showing you us going back and forth about Booker. This wasn't about that or a weapon. This is about the Dallas Cowboys truly going with BPA over need, over and over and over and over. It wasn't just at pick 12. And they had to do it under a lot of pressure, with a lot of anger. So listen to this, cause see, this is where, to me, why we got to settle going forward. In my opinion, why we got to settle on draft the best and rent the rest. It's because we might get caught up in misplaced anger. And see, the OC talked about this, man, and he went crazy. Let me play this clip, and we gonna talk about this misplaced anger.
You
Game,
know
but I
what?
can't see it. I don't
You know,
see it.
you know what I'm starting to realize?
What's that?
I'm starting to realize something. I think we got like a little bit of misplaced aggression here.
Uh-oh.
And I think I know why. The panel is frustrated about our lack of weapons and lack of options from the previous year. It's like a heart.
Hey, say wait. This the funny part, bro. Watch Henny, bro. It's like the OC was speaking to his heart. Watch Henny, bro. Say, man, that boy Henny, that's my boy. Watch Henny, bro.
You
Game,
know
but I
what?
can't see it. I don't
You
see it.
know what I'm starting to realize?
What's that?
I'm starting to realize something.
I'm gonna say, what's that? Watch Henny though, man. It's like he talking to him, bro. Watch Henny.
I think we got like a little bit of misplaced aggression here.
Uh-oh.
And I think I know why. The panel is frustrated about our lack of weapons and lack of options.
That boy Henny. Say, man, that boy Henny felt that. Henny like, damn right.
From the previous year. It's like a heartbreak. It's like a broken relationship, right?
My boy Henny is feeling that, man. That boy is just steadily nodding, bro.
And you're really mad at the front office. You're not mad at us for saying pick a great player. You're really mad at the lack of detail and attention that was put on getting more viable weapons the last couple of years. That's what you're really mad about. You're not mad at us. You got misplaced aggression. And so now you're going through a conundrum. I see it, boss. I see it so clear. This panel is going through a rebound relationship conundrum. But the problem with the rebound relationship is that 90% of rebound relationships don't work out.
Oh,
And so now
shit.
Rebound relationships don't work out.
Hold on real quick. I got to play this clip, dog. I forgot. Lou cooked too. Let me pull Lou up because he talking about them. Let me play that again. Listen.
But the problem with the rebound relationship is that 90% of rebound relationships don't work out.
All right, let me go to Lou. See, let me tag in Lou real quick. Lou, you it.
I'm not arguing weapon, I'm arguing your mindset towards your.
Listen to what he said. I'm not arguing weapon, I'm arguing the mindset. And see, this is some of y'all still thinking I'm over here fighting for trenches. That fight been over. We both won. This ain't got nothing to do with that. This is all about mind state. This is all about if we in this position again, what kind of mind state are we gonna have so that we can join our voices instead of fighting each other? We need more people on the same team. Listen to Lou.
I'm not arguing weapon, I'm arguing your mindset towards your.
Right.
I went through some history. I can go back to your history, the Dallas Cowboys. You never operate when you have to force it. Even with my O-line picks, when you go in hungry for a position, you miss every time. I encourage y'all to look at your jerseys in the back of your closet. We didn't need any of those guys. We let the draft happen and the guys fell in your lap. You didn't need Micah. Just how I know that, I was sitting here watching Boss, OC, and J Tuck. They were telling you how he can rush. Even Brian Broaddus came on here in your own Cowboy stats, didn't know he can rush, so which means they didn't need him. You didn't need CD. Everybody forget, y'all want to mention all these weapons, but you forget you had Amari, you had pre-injury Michael Gallup. When you let the board fail to you and let bad teams are bad at drafting, as Vach put it, you let the board come to you, you will hit every time. But when you force it, you get the DN, I'm blanking, Taco Charlton, who went very next. TJ.
Ooh, he is telling the truth too. He is telling the truth. Lou, listen to y'all. Lou has not damn lied. He has not lied. And nah. We needed Micah how it played out. But let's keep it real. They didn't draft Micah with the vision of what the OC had. They didn't. No. See, the OC, when he broke down Micah, he said, if you're smart, you would take Micah Parsons. Hey, hold on, let me pull it. Hold on. I still got the clip. Hold on real quick. Because I just pulled the clip. I got to see, because I got to show this, man. The OC, I'm going to say this. The OC has never got enough credit, bro. He has never got enough credit. Hold on, let me find this clip. I might be able to find it. I might not. Hold on. Hope I find it. Y'all give me a second. Try to find this clip. But it's where the OC, he cooked. Man, I'm talking about he cooked. Where he was. I just talk about it. Hold on real quick. Hold on. That's not it. That's not it. Oh, here we go. Look. I found it. Look.
I think we're actually burying the lead. Hey, OC, how did you know that Parsons was going to be able to rush the passer as well as he did? When you said it in that little clip we watched, how did you know?
I love Parsons as a rush defensive end, right?
So, like, D.A. Lee, you saying we needed Mike. So, this is clearly showing that the Cowboys did not envision Micah like the OC envisioned him, like I envisioned him as a designated pass rusher. So they thought they was getting a linebacker that could potentially rush the passer, but not like what the OC just said.
If you draft him and you put him on the end, turn him into another DeMarcus.
So meaning getting the best player available ended up just working out for them.
Where let him rush the quarterback, get upfield, and create damage to the other opposing offense.
We got the pick.
Man,
so what the OC was saying right there, even the Dallas Cowboys scout didn't know.
Here it is.
We got the pick.
Yeah, this got to be Parsons. Like, Parsons the best player available.
Because I interviewed the scout.
What'd he say?
The scout. Because I interviewed the scout.
Now, it's some content creators that literally shit on our name and say that we faking and that there's no way that content creators can know what NFL scouts don't know. And you have Brian Brothers literally saying that the OC knew what the man that was assigned to Michael Parsons did not know.
I interviewed the scout that saw him first at Penn State. And he had no idea. He's like, if you told me this guy,
which is going to lose point. When they drafted Micah, they wasn't envisioning him to be the Micah that the OC said.
I saw him as an off-ball rush linebacker, but what did you see him to put his hand out?
You right on that, D.A. Lee. Yeah, you right. Now, you right on this. For sure, because I remember that draft. You right. Yeah, because actually you right on what you said. That year we did need a linebacker. That was one of our top needs. I see what you're saying. I thought you were saying they was envisioning him as a rushing. No, they wasn't. We did still need linebacker, though. You right on that, for sure.
Because in that clip we saw in the opening, you're the only person I've ever seen to ever say that Micah Parsons could be a put his hand down guy. So I need that question answered.
And that's dope for the OC, man. And I really mean this. The OC never gets enough credit. I swear to God he don't. The OC doesn't get enough credit, bro. He really don't. I mean that. But going back to what Lou was saying, and appreciate that, D.A. Lee, bro. Appreciate that, D.A. Lee.
What? When you force it, you get Tyler Guyton. When you force it, you get Mozzie Smith. That's when you go in keying in on a position, you miss every single time.
Okay, and this is my rebuttal because you already mentioned it.
So now going back to what the OC was saying with this misplaced aggression.
90% of rebound relationships don't work out.
And that's what Lou was saying.
Relationship conundrum. But the problem with the rebound relationship is that 90% of rebound relationships don't work out. And so now you're trying to force that wide receiver too. And I'm telling you.
Well, hey man, that fight was fun, bro. I swear to God. And I still love both sides, bro. Like, man, that was one of the dopest fights of all time, bro. Y'all got the OC with the hoodie. You got Henny going crazy. Landlord was going 8 bananas. Star was cussing us out, boy. It was just dope. This was a whole dope war. I appreciated the back and forth. It really was.
You're trying to force that wide receiver too. And I'm telling you, 90% of that, if you force it, if you force this, you force in this relationship, it is not going to work. It's going to crash and burn. Furthermore, let me go ahead and help you guys understand context and history. And this is for everybody. This part is for educational purposes only, okay? And I don't want to have to go here. I don't want to say all this kind of stuff. But the fact is, the way y'all acting, y'all making me have to say this. Do you
Y'all made that boy put on his hoodie, bro. Woo. So this is important though, man. See, this is one of them shows. I hate shows like this because hopefully y'all don't forget this. But this is one of them shows. This is preparing us for the future. Because if they are selectively aggressive again, we go see this again. If they are selectively aggressive again, you are going to see this process. What process, boss? You go see them walk into the draft with major needs. Now, what you gonna do? Are we gonna be pressuring them? See, this year we was pressuring them for running back and receiver. Or are we gonna sit back and say, bro, get the best player, rent the rest of them dudes. Rent. And I'm talking about quality rental. A quality rental. Okay. So you couldn't get the... See, this is the problem. I'm going to tell you the problem. We was angry about wide receiver 2. So when they took care of it, we lost our anger. So Dallas is not urgent anymore. Why? Cowboy Nation happy. But we needed more anger, man. We still need anger. We still need to be like, I'm glad you got you a quality rental in Pickens because he is a rental, y'all. He's a rental. He's a lease with an option to buy. We might say, you know what? After this year, gone, man. You was a headache. You really didn't fit that. You was doing push-ups with CeeDee Lamb at first, but then you became something else. So guess what? We leased you. You was a lease. We don't want to buy. It can happen. And guess what? They can move on. But at least he's a quality lease. That's a high level rent. And that's what we should be pushing for going forward. Not, we gotta get running back at pick 26. We gotta get whatever the next need might be. Because guess what we gonna do probably next time? We gotta get that one tech. We gotta get him. And I'm gonna be over here be like, yeah, but you still gotta get a vet with him. Humbos, Graham, he's one of the best. I'm gonna be like, dog, you ain't learned from Mozzie? It take all them dudes about 3 years unless they're generational. You gotta be like a Vita Vea. You gotta be like a Donovan Sue. You gotta be like shit, what's my boy from the Rams? Y'all help me out. Y'all help me out. What's old boy from the Rams, man? Y'all hear me out, man. I ain't gonna move on till I say his name. I don't know why I can't remember him though. Too much weed. Hold on real quick. I'm gonna look him up. Aaron Donald, dumbass. Yeah, it got to be like Aaron Donald. Now, if you get Aaron Donald, I'm gonna be like, we good. We good. Fish would have been good too. See, Fish was somebody that was special, and I knew he was special. I was telling people he had first round talent. I was telling everybody, I was like, bro, are y'all gonna really ignore how explosive that white dude is from Florida State? That boy Fish, he killed everything. The 40, the tape, and they was like, I see a third round. I'd be like, bro, if you don't shut your, that's why I swear I hate the draft, bro. I swear. Because every year it's some real dumb stuff. So, but this is what I'm saying, man. This is about the future. This is about us the next time we sit in a situation where they go likely say we're being selectively aggressive. And then they go walk into the draft with needs. What we go do? What we go do? Or we go do what my boy Lou called sugar eye and start punching on to everybody that's talking about. Nah, we need to go with the best player right here, bro. This dude is clearly on another level. Like, it's levels. And this level is right here. This player is right here. We need that. Plus, this guy fits your coach. Are we going to fight again? Or are we going to say, you know what? Let's just do what we did with Pickens. Let's draft Booker and rent the weapon. So let's just think about it. Which one would you rather have? If we would have reached for Matthew Golden, we would have had Matthew Golden, which is now, like what we predicted, a player in the 20s that we would have got at 12, and we would have had Hoffman. Which one would you rather have? Booker, Pickens, Hoffman, Matthew Golden. See, that's the power of drafting the best and renting the rest. See, that's what's pissing me off about running back right now. And that's what's pissing me off about us not having the same anger that we had for wide receiver too. Because this is the same strategy that they could pull off with a Chubb. For cheap. They could say, you know what? We drafted the best players available. We went and got Donovan. We went and got Booker. Yeah, we went and got these guys. I'm sorry we couldn't pass them up. So guess what? We got to get us a quality rental. Somebody that's really like a bridge. Similar to Pickens. Quality though. Quality. Because, see, we still trying to win this thing. See, what's happening is we're getting the best player available, but then we're being still too cheap when it comes down to trying to win a championship. We over here like, oh, man, don't bring in Chubb. He gonna hurt the development of the young reps. Yeah, and this is a good question. And I like what y'all saying. He say, Chubb got anything left? From the videos that I see, and from the last time I watched this film, but who cares? This is what I mean. It's worth it. Why? I'm gonna have to do like my boy Vach. I'm gonna give y'all 1,000 disclaimers before I say this, just like he did. I hate to say this. I really do hate to say this. But we have to look at the dudes who just won a Super Bowl and learn from them. Yeah, this is what I mean. When Philly go add a player, they just trying to see, could it work? They ain't looking for the perfect ass free agent. They'll get a dude who was formerly great, like Bun, and say, let's see what happens. They'll take a dude like Dotson, who was a former first. Shit, we looking for a third receiver. Let's see what happens. Ain't gonna hurt. Ain't gonna hurt. Right? They'll take a dude like Julio Jones, old as dirt, and they'll say, we looking for wide receiver 3. Why not? Let's try it. Why not? Ain't gonna cost a shit. With Bun, boom, home run. With Dotson, wasn't even a base hit. But guess what? You ain't gonna hit shit that you don't swing at. Philly. Chubb get hurt too much. You can substitute that to Saquon. Can't you? Can't we do that? Couldn't we take out Chubb right here on this chat and put in right there Saquon got hurt too much? Couldn't we do that? Yeah, and we did get Paris. We did. And we added more on top of that too. With Pickens. That's my point at running back. That's what I mean by rent. And I mean quality rentals. And keep throwing at it. Why not? That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But Cowboy Nation is like, no, don't. Even though if I go look at, and I got to say like what I said, I hate to say it, but if I go look at how they do things, they'll go take, what was the guard that they just got? Becton. But boss, he's a failed tackle, boss. Why would you bring him in? Philly didn't do that. Philly was like, let's just see. Ain't that what they did? Becton, come on. Let's see. Huh? So that's what I'm saying. So Chubb right now has a market value according to Spot Track of $3.5 million. We talking about somebody that's probably not going to even have a cap hit of $1 million. Why would you not even give that type of upside a try as a rental? We not saying buy Chubb. We saying rent him. Just to add a whole lot of competition to the room that's uncertain. Maybe he's Bun. Or maybe he Dotson. The cost is not worth me fighting it. Draft the best and rent the rest. So listen, man. Front office got it right. They did. And to me, I really want us to get behind this. Because we gonna be here again. If the Dallas Cowboys keep doing things the way they've been doing things, we gonna be sitting here again. My boy Kenneth Richardson, I respect your thoughts, my brother. He said 2 ACL surgeries. Have you ever looked up how many ACL surgeries Gore had? You remember Gore? Have you ever looked that up? I think you need to look it up. Guess who also had multiple ACL surgeries? A running back that actually ended up having in one of the most durable careers after it. You remember Malik Hooker, injury history? I know what he got. I know what happened to him. Could it happen again? It could. But what if it don't? What if it don't? And then Lou said Williams tore 4 ligaments in his knee. And see, that's my part, Lou. If you got Williams with 4 ligaments in his knee, shit, bring in all the injured former greats. Just bring them all in and just say, man, let's just see what happened, man. Throw this at the wall. If they end up being healthy like Malik Hooker, man, we blessed. If they bust their knee again, well, shit, we spent $1 million. For a cap, that's... So anyway, man, that's how I see it. I want us to rent whenever we can't draft a need, rent it. Just rent it until you get to the next draft season. And then see what happens. So I just want to say, to me, this is where front office got it right. And this is our chance to learn from it. So I'm going to be coming back. So I dealt with already, all right, the alignment. And alignment is big, okay? That's super big. Now I dealt with the BPA where they got it right. It's another place they trying to get it right. And we're going to talk about that. Competition, trades, and culture. So, like I said, this is going to be a series, right? And these are all things, first, that we can learn from. Number one, very important to learn from it, where you can see proper alignment. But then, when they're selectively aggressive again, what are we going to do? Are we going to fight about it? Or are we going to come together for what's really the best player available? So when I talk about them tomorrow, because I'm doing that show tomorrow, the show on culture, competition, and trades. That's where front office got right. We got to remember it so we can pressure them to keep doing it.
One of the things that I've been so impressed with the draft process here is, you know, when there's things that happen and you kind of let it fall the way that it's falling, when the best player is there that's going to make our team the best, we're going to get the thing that we think is the sure thing more than just like, you know what, we really need this position, let's reach a little bit. You know, there doesn't seem to be a lot of reaching in that draft room, and certainly no panic in that draft room, so it's been pretty impressive to watch.